So, what do you do with your money after you're in control, after you're out of debt? How does the breakdown need to look after you have everything in order and now you have extra funds? Is there like a way that we figure out and divide up what, if you do decide to get another expense, another fixed cost, what's that going to be? How much can it be? What's the ideal way to divide up your checks as they come in? I'm sure we all have that question. I know that I did. And just, it's not set in stone, but it's just an idea to give you that in the event, you get a car paid off, you get your home paid off, but you're thinking of taking on another property or you're thinking of taking on another car. How should you look at it? What is going to be your model now that you're out of the crazy debt, you're in control? What's going to be the model that you're going to use from now on? I mean, we're talking, this is a lifetime of change, and we don't want to let it go and jump back into a bad situation. So a fixed cost is anything that is coming out, any loans, car payments, homes, any fixed costs being any loan payments that you have currently, any utility bills, your food, your gas, Netflix, whatever that you're going to be paying every month. Now, anything that you can eliminate, for example, if you have crazy subscriptions and maybe some that you've forgotten about, and I too have this problem because when I, start working with a new program, sometimes it'll say, I need to pay membership to be able to access something for business or whatever. And then I'll decide not to use that program after all. I run into the fact that I have subscriptions that pop up that I forgot I signed up for. So please look for things like that to eliminate anything extra that you're paying for that maybe you've just forgotten about. And CVS, I've told you guys that I have one card that I keep active just by charging that $5 CVS coupon or whatever you want to call it to be a member of that, because they give you $10 back per month in a reward. So you get $10 to use at CVS every month. And so I just revolve that $5 off of a credit card that I don't use just to keep the credit card active. So I get my $5 back when they give me the $10. Okay, so that being said, that's part of my fixed cost, and it is that $5 a month that I need to add it into this fixed cost. So that means that 50 to 60% of my bring home pay every month should only be fixed cost and less. So what I mean, 50 to 60, that's a max. Okay. And I know some of you guys are not there yet because you're just starting velocity banking. You're just figuring out how to get this debt paid off. That's okay. This is a model after your debt's under control. That's what today's class is about. You have enough information now that you should be able to be getting in a position to get out of debt. Okay. Some people needed to just start with their credit score and get that built up, right? So it's taken some time. I had to do that. I had to work on my credit score, meaning I was working on my credit cards until my score kept increasing to where I could move into a higher limit credit card. Then I could move into a PLOC, which I've told you before was my credit card through my credit union. They allowed me to link it so I could use it as my PLOC. So I never went and got another PLOC just for that. And then I moved into a HELOC. Then you move into multiple lines. Maybe you've got two HELOCs if you don't have a first lien HELOC. Maybe you have 0% credit cards. It's just an increase. Now, your housing in this model, because remember, all your fixed costs are in here. But your two big ones are your housing. It should run you under 30%. I know that's crazy for some people because I swear I work with people that have outrageous house payments or rent. It's stealing their whole income. I feel like that is what is going to be the real problem when the market starts to drop. We've got these people buying these $450,000 homes on a 7 and 8% interest rate. Their house payments are $4,000 to $5,000 a month, and they're making making $10,000 a month. If your house is at 50%, you've already met your fixed costs. By the time you add in your electric bills, your utilities altogether, your food, your gas, you are way over this amount, right? So your housing should be about in this area here, okay? So let's see if we can do that. If we can keep our costs where they need to kind of be with the model, then you're going to be just fine financially, okay? Your car payments, I see $1,400 car payments every day, and that makes me cringe. Let me go back and say this again. In a past marriage I had, he thought he had to have a new car every 6 months. And do you know what that does to your car payments? Because every time you turn in the car that has lost the value, you're tacking that lost value that you still owe on a car loan into the next car loan. So you're adding the new car and the old car together, and now you've got a bigger payment. I see that every single day. And I think I was so tortured with that I did not aim to live like that. I did not aim to ever have another high payment car. The last I remember, it was a Ford Expedition. It was in 2003, I guess, and it was $928 a month just for the car payment. But the fact is that I don't agree with high car payments, but every single person that I work with, wow, the car payments are astronomical, just the car payment and not the insurance. So please, please, please think about what you're buying and, come down off of the pedestal a little bit. We are about getting financially fit. And if you can even trade down while you're doing that, it'll make a huge difference in how fast you get out of debt. Now, after your fixed costs, which is the car payment and the housing, into that, like I said, all utilities, given your kids an allowance, whatever is a fixed cost, it should not exceed 60%. Once you get your velocity in order and you're in control of your money, I know a lot of you are not there yet, and that's okay. I wasn't either. It took me some time. This is the model after you get your debt under control. So in infinite banking policies, when I say investments, that is not policies. Infinite banking is not an investment, okay? It's just not. Investments are things that go up and down. You play the stock market, for example. That's not what these policies are. They are fixed, guaranteed not to lose them. So I don't call them investments, but 10 to 15% of all of your bring home pay should be going into this eventually. Again, this is a model. So eventually you should have 10 to 15% going into investments or policies if you're wanting to grow your wealth for retirement. Savings, 10 to 15%. Now this, I don't believe in at all until after these are paid way down, okay? Way down. This even off, okay? The housing, let me tell you a little bit the way I feel about mortgages. A mortgage is nothing but stealing your wealth. I don't care if it's at 2% or if it's at 10%. It's expensive to have a mortgage. Now, after you're into it for a few years, you've paid a lot of interest. You can still win by paying off the home, okay? And people say, well, it's good for your taxes. I'm going to call BS on that, because you don't save enough in taxes to no, your mortgage is eating you up compared to what you're saving on taxes. So there's a lot of ways to look at that. The way I look at it, the way it was with my home, is my house payment was $612 a month. And I know that is no money. If I were to do a board on what my home cost me, people would be like, she's lying. Nobody has a house payment that low. I did, okay? And it was $912 total with the property taxes and insurance. So I know that's hard to believe. And I'm telling you, I can show you that. But if your house payment is under $1,000 a month, and at that time I was making probably $6,000 or $7,000 a month, that was no money to me. I was well within my fixed costs. Okay. So paying off my home when I learned this wasn't a big deal to me because it was not stealing my income. That cash flow was not enough, because we can't even get rent for that, right? So look at your own situation. If you have a really low house payment, if you have a really good income, don't be stressing out if you have a mortgage that is keeping you way under. Okay. Does that make sense? I am not a mortgage fan, but I'm saying if you can take some of your money and you have plenty to put into this area, even with a small mortgage, then don't stress out about it. If you're at a 2% mortgage and you've got an under $1,000 with your taxes and insurance, that's not something that I'm screaming, oh my gosh. I'm screaming, oh my gosh, when you have over a 3% and you have a $300,000 loan. Okay. The highest my mortgage ever was 145,000. Okay. And I just really was blessed with a deal that I took. So that being said, you may be able to go ahead and do this and this if you wanted to, if you've got less than this going on. Just saying, that's my opinion. You can do what you want to with that. As far as the cash flow, you're going to have plenty of cash flow if you do this model. Okay. Because add it up. If you've got less than 60% here and your housing and your car is in this, then you're 10 to 15 and you're talking 30% more. You're still going to have 10% cash flow, if not 20%, depending on what you're putting into these two. So that would still give you cash flow, right? So you're going to have plenty of cash flow if you're by this model. That's kind of the point. The cash flow then, when you've got all of this under 60, you've got these two under 30. Guess what? That cash flow is your fun money. That's your vacation money. That's anything you want to spend your money on because you are by the model and you are doing great. So don't beat yourself up for buying that fabulous vacation you want or, an expensive pair of shoes. I don't know, whatever you're into. Just get your financials in order. Try to set it up by a decent model and then enjoy your life. I mean, that's what this is about, right? Another thing is a suggestion is if you've added up all of your debts, all of your expenses, all your utilities, all the money you give your kids set every month for allowance, anything, Netflix, like I said, anything that you're going to be paying, like the alarm bill for your home, right? This includes car insurances, everything. Add 15% to that because there's going to be things come up that maybe you hadn't thought of. So then you are into cutting your cash flow down pretty low if you're figuring it here. But you just want to make sure that you have enough of your income figured into what you're doing here, okay? Because this is happening. These two need to happen. Whatever's left over is fun money. So it's kind of, like I said, it's a model. It's not something that's set in stone. It's how do you feel about it? If you're like me, this right here, I put into here. So, and I put extra into here. So, I just don't leave a fund sitting out doing nothing. I've always got the money. The money's working somewhere. Okay. That's just my idea. Totally fine. Okay. So the fixed cost divided by your bring home pay is going to tell you if you're at this number. So the 3,600 would be the fixed cost, say up to 60% of this example here. The pay is 7,500. That is bring home pay. That is not gross. That's what you actually get to touch. Okay. After your taxes, after your insurance, everything comes out. 7,500, your bring home pay. So you would take your cost, divide it by your pay, and then there is what your fixed cost is in this example. So this person has 48%. They're under their fixed cost. All right. Like I said, they might want to add 15% to that just to make sure that they're actually covering all of those costs. Okay. This is just the model. You can do it or not, but it kind of gives you an idea of what's going to be comfortable living for you after you get your debts in order and you're running.